I just wanted to kind of paint a bigger uh, overview of like why we thought it was important to reimagine the collection when it came to putting out a game and to making 3D characters.
Sure.
Um, and I think the question was, and Groovy, if you correct me if I'm wrong, just these 3D assets are going to be fully rigged. We're going to have obviously animations, and how does making these assets, what can we provide our community from these assets that get made? I think is the question.
Sure. Okay. So let me answer that one. That one's kind of an easy one to answer. So I'll answer that one first. So each what we're making for you that's going to go into each asset is a character, a model, and as you know, because you've been involved in the process, the first step is you have a concept for the character. You describe it, then we do a sketch, and then from the sketch we do a basic model, and then we refine the model, and then a whole bunch of other um, uh, considerations come in once the not really once the model is complete, but that add to the model. And that has to do with technical things about the rigging and the kinds of animations that can be used with that model. So each asset, each token would, would have would actually be associated with a model. And that model is built from a very high fidelity model that we create for you guys. You guys have seen samples and what it can output. And when you own the token, you'll have access to a model version of it. So you guys will have to decide the fidelity you want available to the consumers, the people who mint your NFTs, because we built a high fidelity one that is the source for all of them, but that isn't necessarily the source you provide to your users. And it's not that you want to provide less; it's that you want to make it easy for them to download and view. So sometimes you don't want to provide the highest fidelity version to your consumers because of that. Yeah, and so the user will have an NFT token that will have a model with it, and we did another collection for another, well, a previous company I was with called Blockchain Foundry. We were a blockchain technology firm. We built a collection for Catbotica, and it was a 2D collection that became a 3D collection. And along with the models you got, you could make them do particular animations. So we're making these models so that they're compliant with a whole collection of animation scripts. And so again, with you before we release the collection, we're going to work out how many animation scripts go out in the model with the NFT, but more importantly, that that model that is attached to that NFT, you can always make more animation scripts for it, which is what we do for the game, and so forth. And it then becomes again an ecosystem asset, right? So something you include in your license for when people mint your asset is what you license them to be able to do with the model, right? So, are you letting them use it in to make their own games or to put in other people's games? I mean, that's a consideration for you guys, not really for us as the StadiaX publishing platform, but certainly what we're creating with you and for you, would be usable in all those different ways. And so, yeah, it's
Absolutely. I
and
think we would love for our community to take those assets and kind of run,
sure.
back
And
to,
yeah, we were
yeah.
talking about how we're making them for you so that you can create sizzle reels and cool animations. And I don't want to jump ahead or talk about, you wanted to make, you know, episodes of a show with them. You could do that too, right? These are full 3D objects. They'll be rigged. This is getting into technical elements. They'll be rigged and boned in such a way so that they're usable in the game, And to do more complicated stuff or more dynamic stuff, like a show, you might have to do further work on the model, to add more rigging and more bones, and certainly you would have to, uh, map larger animation scripts and so forth if you wanted to do that in a modular kind of way. But and again, we've had experience already on the Catbotica project deploying assets where when you look at the asset in the marketplace, you don't just see a flat image. You see a 3D model. You can move around in 3D space, and you can click on buttons in an interface and make them do their idle animation, their walk animation, or their special animation if you so choose, which could be an attack or a dance or whatever. I think you should make every model do the Macarena dance, but that's just me.
Yeah, I love it. And personally, it reminds me a lot of Super Smash Brothers. Right? You're able to go look at some of these assets, the ones that you can collect, and kind of do the whole revolution and kind of get a closer look at these assets. And I think empowering our community to do that with these monsters that they've grown attached to is going to be a huge value add.